This is the gaslighting tactic the media have used for years, and now it's playing out live on air. A brave caller phoned into LBC and stated what countless victims, whistleblowers and reports have confirmed, that the majority of grooming gangs are made up of Pakistani men. But instead of engaging with the facts, Shayla Fogarty flat out denied it, claiming they're not, and throwing out fantasy statistics that have already been rubbished by the Casey report and others. This isn't just ignorance, it's part of the same media narrative that helped cover this up for decades, and people are waking up to it. Watch how she doubles down, dismisses the truth, and plays her role in protecting the establishment. Her time will come. Before we get into the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Have a watch of this.
The whole of the country needs to know that there's gangs of Pakistani men going around targeting young, white, helpless English girls and getting them on drugs and pimping them out to their friends and family and raping them 10 a day, 20 a day.
Listen, John.
Scout clubs and all this stuff. In fact, we know that goes on.
Yeah.
But this is the biggest scandal ever this country has ever known.
But
and if we don't have inquiry, we won't all know.
Do you accept that it isn't just Pakistani men?
In the grooming gangs, it basically is.
No, it isn't. It isn't. Then you, John, haven't been watching the news closely enough.
I have been watching the news. The grooming gangs.
They're not all Pakistani. Plenty of them are white, and plenty of them are women on and off. You see women in the group as well.
It's 90% Pakistani men.
Listen, John, nobody is denying that there are grooming gangs in all.
It isn't.
I'm not suggesting it isn't.
It's not all. It's not all, but it's 90 to 95%.
No, it isn't 90 to 95%. It isn't, John. And also, John.
Gangs are.
Also,
the grooming gangs. What they're doing, the drugs, get them involved in drugs and pimping them out. They are done by Pakistani grooming gangs.
Not only. Not only.
Oh, come on. You know what?
That's all I'm saying.
You can't keep whitewashing this subject.
I'm not whitewashing anything, John. The other thing you've got wrong, John, the other thing you've got wrong, is to suggest that this has been happening for 20-odd years only. This has happened
for 20, 30 years.
It's happened and 10 years before that, and 10 years before that, and 10 years before that, and 10 years before that. There have always been, John, there have always been predatory men individually and together who...
This is a new thing. This grooming gang thing, this is a new thing.
It's really not a new thing.
This is how people reacted. This user said, "They are Sheila Fogarty. History won't judge you kindly." This user said, "Oh my goodness, I heard this on radio yesterday when I was driving, and it nearly tipped me over the edge. But seeing the look on her face, it tells me she is petrified to acknowledge the truth." Joe said, "She is as big a culprit as the politicians." This user said, "One day it might impact her personally. Only then will she wake up." This user said, "What a pathetic piece of shit this woman is. It beggars belief that she still will not accept that people of a certain skin colour can do this, or that the thousands of doctors and engineers coming across the channel in small boats would ever do these vile crimes. I think her woke mind virus is untreatable." Jamie said, "LBC needs to terminate her contract with the station because she keep gaslighting listeners that a bad thing for LBC as a radio station. If advertisers want to advertise on their station between songs, they better think twice before going with LBC. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. In other news, Nigel Farage has called on the government to abandon the HS2 rail project despite £30 billion already being spent on the controversial high-speed rail line. Speaking to the media, the Reform UK leader argued that the funds allocated to HS2 should instead be redirected towards upgrading Britain's existing rail network. I find it extraordinary that whether it's spending review announcements or budgets, we talk about cutting $1 billion here or $1 billion there. We rarely discuss HS2, which of course is costing tens of billions and forecast to cost many tens more, Farage said. Farage revealed he has been opposing the project since 2010, citing fundamental concerns about its viability and purpose. He explained his opposition stems from two key issues: the absence of private investment and what he views as a flawed economic premise. Farage told the media, "Let me be clear, I've been campaigning against this since 2010. All through the years I've campaigned against it. Why? Well, firstly, because it was never going to get a penny of private money, and I thought British governments are bad at doing these things. And secondly, I thought the whole thing was based on the false premise, which was if you have fast trains going to Birmingham, Manchester, maybe over to Leeds, that it would actually help take business to the north. He also challenged the project's core justification, arguing that faster connections to northern cities would not boost regional economies as promised. Drawing on international examples, he warned, "What I'd seen with the TGV in France is the opposite. Actually, when Marseille became 3 hours from Paris, not 6, we saw firms relocating from Marseille to Paris." Highlighting how Transport Secretary Heidi Alexander had laid blame on the Tories for the spiralling costs and delays to HS2. Farage said, "I've fought against it all the way through." Heidi Alexander, the responsible minister, spoke to the House of Commons and said, "Look, the Tories have made an absolute mess of it. We're going to slow the thing down, but trust us, we'll deliver it on time." So I asked her, how much had it cost to date? When Farage questioned Alexander about costs incurred to date, she confirmed that £30 billion had already been spent on HS2. Farage argued that the project should be cancelled immediately, warning of spiralling future costs. I still think we should scrap it, because I think the final cost of this will be well over 100 to 150 billion pounds. Goodness knows what it's going to be. He referenced business principles, stating, "In business, you say the first cut is the best cut." Although there are not many people in Parliament who've ever run a business or would know what it's like to take a loss. Farage argued that the money would deliver far greater benefits if spent on improving rail services across the country rather than on a single high-speed line. I think we could spend that money far better, in fact, a fraction of that money upgrading railway services all over the country for the benefit of millions of people, as opposed to some really rather well-heeled men and women going to London for the day, he concluded. Farage's comments once again place HS2 at the heart of a broader debate about infrastructure priorities, economic strategy, and government spending. With £30 billion already spent and billions more projected, his call to scrap the project altogether reflects growing public and political unease about the scheme's long-term value. Whether or not his warnings are heeded, the future of HS2 remains uncertain, and the pressure on ministers to justify its cost is unlikely to ease anytime soon. What do you make of Nigel Farage's comments, and what are your thoughts on HS2 as a whole? Let me know your thoughts on these down in the comments section. I look forward to seeing what you think. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.